Hello, this is Ananya. In the last lecture, we saw what lists in Python are, and we also saw various operations such as slicing, indexing using lists in Python. So today we'll be starting a very elegant way of using lists in Python, and the name of elegantly using lists is list comprehensions. So let's see what exactly list comprehensions are and what all we can explore with it.
All right. So now that we're done with lists in the last lecture, a very elaborate list lecture, now let's have a look at what list comprehension has to tell us. Now what list comprehension exactly means is we have a simple list, right? Now we want to maybe iterate through it or maybe perform some action. So instead of giving a 3 or 4 line long code, how about we can change it into a single line? Won't that be so compact and interesting and very elegant? Don't you think so? Like, of course, converting a 4 line code, though 4 lines is extremely small, but still 4 and 1, that makes a huge difference, right? So this is what list comprehension provides us. You can make your list code extremely small, very neat, very compact and extremely elegant to look and deal with. Okay, so let's just have a look. Instead of just talking, let's actually see how list comprehension works. For example, I have this list holding all these numbers, and since if you can observe, these are all 3-digit numbers. Now what I want to do is I want to convert all of them into two digit. That is, it should be 22.3, 67.8 and so on. So how do you think we'll go about it? Well, one of the approaches can be you take an empty list, okay, or maybe just take another empty list, and for the variable I in the previous list, that is list example, that is I in list example, you keep appending I divided by 10, right? So it basically is a 4-line code. So you put it in a for loop, and then in the next line you keep appending it. I hope you all know what append is, since we just saw a lot of it in the previous lecture. So now this is the basic approach, okay? This is something that we all would try out very first. But could there be a more easier way to do it? What do you think? Well, there is, and the answer to it is list comprehensions. So what we do is it's not necessary to take an empty list anymore. What you do is you take a new list, and inside that you say I divided by 10 for I in list example. Now what it basically means is the for loop that we were applying. See, this for loop that we were applying in this example, we are putting it inside the list. Okay, so we are taking for I in list example, that is the iteration inside the list, and whatever the function that we want to perform, we are placing it before the for keyword. So I divided by 10 will be the value stored each time the iteration takes place inside the new list. Okay, so I divided by 10 is basically the value you want to be returned inside the list after each iteration. So let's try this out on Eclipse and see what we get. Let's name it list comprehension.py. Okay, so what was our example? We have a list containing 3-digit numbers. Let's just give any random numbers. Okay, this is our set of numbers. So we saw the basic method to do it, right? You give an empty list, you take a for loop, then you append it using the append function, and then you print it. So instead of doing that, what we'll be doing is new list is equal to, we had said I divided by 10. So you have to just be careful with the syntax and list comprehensions. See, you have to give I divided by 10, that is the value you want to be returned before the for loop. Okay, now we give the for loop saying for I in list 1. Okay, and now we say print new list. See how simply that one sentence, that one line could change it into double digit numbers for us. Pretty simple, isn't it? Instead of giving a specific empty list, then providing the for loop, then providing with an append function, it's pretty simple, isn't it? So this is how list comprehension basically works. Okay, now let's try out a little more. Now we saw for, right? We saw how to add loops to the list. Now I want to also add conditional statements to the list, so the list will basically have your returnable value, the if condition, and then the for loop. We shall also have a look at how to add else conditional statements, but let's just go step by step and see how to add if statements. So value to be returned, that this is the syntax I'm saying, value to be returned, if condition, for loop. Okay, so our question is, I want to remove all the negative numbers from a list, so I basically want only the positive numbers. Let's see how this works. Let's comment the entire thing. Okay, now my list will be numbers such as -9, 10, 33, -4, -1, 90, and so on. Okay, any random numbers that you want to take. Now what I want to do is, inside a new list, I say, okay, I think, okay, the syntax what I said is I, that is the value to be returned, then the if condition, and then the for loop. I guess that is what I said, but I'm sorry, that is not what it is. It's I, then you have your for loop, and then you have your if condition. I was actually telling you all the syntax about if else in list comprehension. I'm extremely sorry, but it's just the opposite. Please don't confuse yourself. Value to be returned, for loop, and your conditional statement. Okay, that is your if condition. So what I say, I want it to return the value I for I in list only if I is greater than 0. Okay, you see how this works? Separate it into 3 parts: value to be returned, condition, that is your loop, and then your conditional statement. So return I only if I is greater than 0 and iterate inside the list L. Okay, now let us print new list. Okay, see, you have -9, -4, and -1 removed for you. Okay, this was your example using if statements. Now let us try the next one that I was talking about, that is if else. Okay, we saw for loop and if statement. Now I also want to add an else conditional statement to it. Okay, so my question is, I only want to keep integers inside a list, okay, and remove everything else. In case it contains maybe float numbers or strings, I want to remove all of that. So if it is an integer, keep it, else remove it. That is what we want to do. So now let's take a new list that says or includes numbers 3, 45, hello, 65, bye. Okay, let's just keep it at this. Again, I made the number as a string. Okay, 3, 45, hello, 65 and bye. This is our list. Now if you remember, in the very second lecture, if I remember correctly, in the second lecture of this Python sessions, we had learned about two inbuilt function, that is type and isInstance. So type basically gives us which class the variable belongs to or the element belongs to, and isInstance checks if a certain element belongs to a class or not. So now in this session we'll be using that our age-old knowledge about isInstance function. So what I'll be doing is new list is equal to, now remember our syntax, since we have else here, what we have to do is value to be returned, if else, and then loop. Okay, so if we did not have else, if came at the end of the list. Now since we have the conditional statement else, it will come in the middle of the list, that is between value to be returned and the loop. Let's type it out, it becomes clear. So value to be returned I, if isInstance, okay, isInstance, and inside that, see, you pass the object and then the class. So our object is basically I and our class is int. Okay, why int? Because our question said that I only want integers, nothing else. So if isInstance of I and int, if I belongs to int, only then give return I here, that is return I here, otherwise just replace it with 0. Okay, don't print the string for me. Now you say and do all this conditional work inside the list L. Okay, keep iterating only inside the list L till you reach the end for I in L. Okay, this is what our code looks like. Let's see if it runs properly. Okay, I keep forgetting to print. Let me just print it. So print new list. Okay, there you go. Instead of having hello and bye, it has substituted the strings with the number 0. Okay, so this is how you can work with if, else and loops inside list comprehensions. Okay, now let's have a look at the last example. It says replace by the string even or odd depending on the respective number. That is, if the number is 2, replace it by the word even. If it is 57, replace it by the string odd. This is our last example of today. Let's try it out. Let me just substitute some numbers. Let's say 3, 45, 65, 2, then 88, then let's have 100, 109. Okay, so 3 should give us odd, 45 odd, 2 even, and so on. So what we do is, let me remove our previous code. Let me keep for I in L because we'll require it. Just cutting down on time, So new list is equal to return even. Okay, have a close look at this. This might seem a little different, but it's the syntax is exactly the same, but we'll be returning two elements here. That is one by one, but we'll have two possible outputs. So even if, that is return even if I mod 2 is equal to 0, that is if divisible by 2, that it should return even, right? So return even if I mod 2 is equal to 0, else just return the string, that is odd. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to do. So return even if I mod 2 is equal to 0, else return odd, and keep iterating till you reach the end in list L. See how beautifully you have all the numbers being replaced with their respective string. So this is how you can deal with list comprehensions to make your code very precise and crisp, and it basically makes the code compact, right? The lesser number of codes, the smaller your program is, which is one of the very important aspects in programming. Okay, the smaller your code, the lesser memory it takes, the more efficient your code is considered to be. Alright, we have studied about lists in the previous lecture. We saw about list comprehension now, and we have solved n number of problems to clear your concepts. I hope I have helped you all in the process. Now in the next lecture we shall probably look at user defined functions and maybe try out a small project, since we have learned so much, like we have learned loops, conditional statements, so many data types including lists, and we have seen various other simple syntaxes and fun things to do with Python. We shall now actually put all that knowledge into maybe a mini tiny little project. Alright, I think we should stop now. I shall meet you again next time with lots of more Python concepts, and along with that pretty interesting examples. Bye bye, hope to see you soon.